They're now sending rocket astronauts into space.
As you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA.
You gotta be feeling like you gave a freshman a chance and he just lit you up at the party. Got like, who brought him? Who brought this dude? Hi, my name is Reese Waters and I'm troubled. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page, and shout out to all my new members that have joined. It has been a rough last few months for Elon Musk. There was that time that his own child attacked him publicly on his platform. I understand your new angle is this Western values Christian family man thing, but it's such a weird choice. You're not a family man. You are a serial adulterer who won't stop effing lying about your own children. You're not a Christian. As far as I'm aware, you've never stepped foot in a church. You're not some bastion for equality and progress. You called Arabic the language of the enemy when I was 6 and have been sued for discrimination multiple times and are from apartheid South Africa. You're not saving the planet. You do not give a F about climate change, and you're lying about multi-planetary civilization as both an excuse and because you want to seem like the CEO from Ready Player One. I would mention the birth rate stuff, but I'm not touching that weird 14 words breeder S with a 10-foot pole. You single-handedly disillusion me with how gullible we are as a species because somehow people keep believing you for reasons that continue to evade me. You know, MAGA loves to talk about people's families, but somehow they never get into Elon's. There were those discrimination suits. Tesla, where Musk serves as CEO, is currently facing a lawsuit from the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission over allegations of racial abuse against black employees, including racial slurs and the discovery of nooses in the workplace. Furthermore, Tesla has been accused of not addressing complaints of racial abuse and even retaliating against employees who spoke out, which really put him railing against DEI into a much better context. Elon Musk's initial DEI comments began when he responded to a user's speculation about the IQ scores of United Airlines pilots who graduated from historically black colleges and universities, insinuating that these scores might be lower than those of Air Force pilots. There was that debacle with Don Lemon, where he claimed, as somebody who emerged from apartheid South Africa, he had no idea the impact of the color of his skin.
If you look at history, if you study history broadly, everyone was a slave. Everyone. We are all descended from slaves.
Yeah.
Well, all of us.
Yeah.
It's just a question of when. What advantages did it do? My color, my skin give me. Well, if we keep talking about it nonstop, it will never go away.
Then there was this little nugget from that interview, which showed us exactly how his own self-esteem works. It's not that he can actually build a logical argument. He believes that he's right because his sycophants assert that he's right.
There's no evidence.
Say they have not lowered the standards?
There's no evidence about lowering standards, and I think that there is.
Leave that as a false statement you're making.
Okay, well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I think
the interesting thing is, when this is posted on the X platform, there will be a whole bunch of things that rebut what you said and what I said.
Right.
And so people can then make their own decision based on the replies and the rebuttals and the community notes.
And there we understand exactly what his motivations in buying Twitter. I know he all said that he believes in free speech and he wants this to be the town square. This looked like any town square you recognize? Maybe 1980s DC, right after crack hit. That's how Twitter looking these days. Oh, I'm sorry, X. Then you add to that the fact that when you reinstate all these trolls that have been banned and you settle on community notes in order to clean up the rampant misinformation on the platform, and you see that the man himself is one of the most community noted users on the platform. That would be like Mark Zuckerberg constantly getting his Facebook posts taken down for violation of policy. That would be what would be happening, you know, if they had policy at Twitter, which clearly they don't, because he was able to get off this dandy tweet after Trump's first assassination attempt. Something Don Lemon decided that he even had to address. I thought he was done with Elon Musk after the interview, but he couldn't let this slide.
So he's called everyone who works in this building the enemy of the people. Crooked Joe, Crooked Hillary, Crooked Kamala, Comrade Kamala, deranged Jack Smith, bird brain Nikki Haley, bloodbath if he's not elected. There won't be another election if he's not elected. Communist, Marxist, fascist, left-leaning that live like vermin. Sons of bitches to NBA players. Shithole countries. Haiti was one, and now he's blaming Haitian immigrants for things. Blood coming out of her wherever, as he talked about Megyn Kelly.
Then there was that disastrous first collaboration with Trump on the platform, which was the most irony I've seen since Alanis Morissette. Yes. Yes, in fact, it was. That's also the same interview where Trump delighted in Elon Musk busting up unions, which was extremely valuable, you know, to the Democrats. Well done.
I mean, I think it would be great to just have a government efficiency commission that takes a look at these things and just ensures that the taxpayer money, the taxpayers' hard-earned money, is spent in a good way. And I'd be happy to help out on such a commission.
I'd love
if it were formed.
Well, you're the greatest cutter. I mean, I look at what you do. You walk in and you just say, "You want to quit?" They go on strike. I won't mention the name of the company, but they go on strike, and you say, "That's okay. You're all gone. You're all gone." So every one of you is gone, and you are the greatest. You would be very good.
You also unmask yourself as a purely right-wing operative, which totally destroys that whole idea of, you know, free speech and completely kneecaps the commercial viability of your platform. Well done. But this right here gotta be the absolute worst. This was his reaction being brought on stage by Trump in his return to Butler, Pennsylvania.
And his rocket company is the only reason we can now send America astronauts into space. Take over, Elijah.
You know what? I think I've seen a jump like that before. Or was it here? Nah, I got it.
Jump again. Jump again. There we go. Jump very high. It was good. Thanks, Elon.
Now, somehow, after embarrassing himself to such a degree, which I myself have done as a freshman in high school in order to curry favor with the upperclassmen, I have been here. I wasn't a whole adult when this happened, but I, in fact, have been here. I at least had the decency to tuck my tail and leave. Not Elon Musk.
Hi, everyone. As you can see, I'm not just Maga, I'm dark Maga.
He's a real life supervillain. Yeah. But a real life one, not like, because in the movies, supervillains work because you can write the script and you can make them more viable than they would actually be. But in real life, these kind of supervillains are so filled with personal foibles that it compromises their ability to be productive. He would get up and say something like, "I'm dark Maga." That's That's what a real life supervillain would say, something that corny. Because in the movie, we would walk out. Y'all know you would.
Well, first of all, I want to say what an honor it is to be here. And, you know, the true test of someone's character is how they behave under fire.
Well, I would actually say the true test of somebody's character is how they treat the least of us. But I understand, by virtue of the discrimination lawsuits and the whole South Africa, I get why you wouldn't go with that one.
And we had one president who couldn't climb a flight of stairs, and another who was fist pumping after getting shot. Fight, fight, fight!
Where does not being able to jump in a coordinated fashion fit in that? I'm just curious, like in your continuum, where would this?
Reason we can now send America astronauts into space.
Where would that be?
Now, America is the home of the brave. And there's no truer test than courage under fire. So who do you want representing America?
Not Elon Musk. No. Not Elon Musk. Matter of fact, I don't even want to hear that question from you.
And I think this election, I think it's the most important election of our lifetime. This is no ordinary election. The other side wants to take away your freedom of speech.
Oh, free speech. You mean like this? Oh, you mean like this? That's kind of free speech? That's it?
They want to take away your right to bear arms. They want to take away your right to vote effectively.
Now here you see the impact of all the people that have fled the platform, because under old Twitter, where they had all the newest late-breaking information, he would be very well acquainted with all of the voter suppression efforts that have come from right-wing governors in red states. He'd be very well acquainted with that under old Twitter. But I get under new Twitter, the haven for hate speech, where that is not something they would be interested in illuminating.
This is a must-win situation. Must win. So I have one ask for everyone in the audience, everyone who watches this video, everyone in the live stream. There's one request. It's very important. Register to vote, and get everyone you know and everyone you don't know, drag them to register to vote. There's only 2 days left to register to vote in Georgia and Arizona. 48 hours.
Now that's fascinating, because when Democrats or liberals or anybody who isn't a trad wife or a red pillar happens to advocate for registration and getting people out to vote, they get a bunch of hate tweets and often promises of cancellation. But here we're applauding it. That is fascinating. That has been received so poorly by you guys. I have clowned the very idea that you are afraid of trying to register new voters because you understand how paltry your platform will look to anybody with an operable brain. So here, I have to tip my cap to you by actually trying to get people out to vote, yet at the same time, identifying what a hypocrite that makes all of you. Oh wait, is this what y'all doing? Y'all throwing money at it? Wow. So you can't trust people to vote openly and freely, so you have to suppress the vote. But then also, when that doesn't work, then you're going to throw money at it. That is quite an indictment of that platform. I will tell you that, that is quite an indictment.
But wait, there's more.
One thing I would also like to point out is these little subsidies and things they're throwing out don't affect the people up at the very top that are benefited by the Republican platform Anyway, we got to figure out ways to get the poors and the disenfranchised either not to vote or put $50 in their pocket. So they'll overlook the fact that that's going to make me $500 million.
Oh, and then make sure they actually do vote. If they don't, this will be the last election. That's my prediction.
Oh, this is kind of awkward, Elon Musk. Actually, Trump he's already covered that ground, but it wasn't if the Democrats win. It would be if he won. They wouldn't have to vote again.
And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
I really can't even blame you, because that is the kind of misinformation you would have from being on Twitter all day. Oh, I'm sorry, X.
Nothing's more important. Nothing's more important. So get everyone you know. Everyone. So I'm speaking to people out there. Everyone in the crowd, I think, is already convinced. But for people out there that are watching the video, watching the live stream, you need to get everyone you know, at work, your friends, family, text groups, your social media, everything. Get them to register to vote right now. Only 2 days left for Georgia and Arizona. Only a couple weeks left in Pennsylvania. And if they're not registered to vote, it doesn't matter at that point. Register to vote. I'm being repetitive for a reason, okay? So nothing is more important. And a lot of people think maybe their vote doesn't count. Well, it does, okay? It does. It matters. And this election could be decided by 1,000 votes, 500 votes. A tiny margin. So get everyone you know to register to vote. I believe that's swapthevote.com. I believe that's the site. And double check that your registration is good. Don't take it for granted. I'm just being repetitive about this point because it is the one takeaway, more than anything, that will matter is getting those registrations and then getting everyone you know to actually vote. That is what will decide this election, especially in Pennsylvania.
Now, this man is quite wealthy. And he owns companies, he runs companies, and he's been asked, I'm sure, to speak often. And he certainly has the resources in order to, if he didn't have the natural ability, to coach him up in order to get to a point where he has good media training. He can come off well when he's in a public space. How is he still like this? How is he still like this? This doesn't make any sense.
Reason we can now send America astronauts into space.
So thank you, and honestly, you want to just be a pest. Just be a pest to everyone you know, people on the street, everywhere. Vote, vote, vote. Fight, fight, fight. Vote, vote, vote. Thank you.
Yeah, pest is exactly what came to mind for me too. That is exactly what came to mind for me too. Wow. Well, you know what? There's a lesson to be learned there, and that is that money cannot buy a great number of things. They used to always say money cannot buy love. It also cannot buy charisma. It cannot buy stage presence. It certainly cannot buy fashion. It cannot buy humility. Apparently, it also can't buy you out these discrimination lawsuits, because you still got that going on.
Jump again. Jump again.
And it definitely can't buy reality, because giving up and giving that speech about preserving democracy in order to elect the man who couldn't even be protected from himself.
How will you restore faith in our justice system? A lot of people will say, well, he's just going to do to them what they did to him, and get back at them. And
a lot of people say that's what should happen.
Well,
you want to know the truth.
Right. Well, but I think
Laura Ingraham tried to help him out. She tried to help him out and clean up his authoritarian impulses. Now, as far as Trump is concerned, I don't know how you feeling, because here you are trying to make sure that you can hang out, that you in good circles, you can hang out with the cool kids and things like that. And now you got Elon Musk next to you. You know you need his money and you know you need his platform, so you can't cut him off all the way. But how you feeling right now? You know what I mean? Like, you gotta be feeling like you gave a freshman a chance and he just lit you up at the party. Got like, who brought him? Who brought this dude? Oh, dang. I told him don't bring that spinner hat. This man came to the party in hard bottoms. Well, Trump, look, if you're looking for a way out, you ain't heard this from me, but Elon Musk been talking to Buttigieg. Yeah. He been talking to Buttigieg. You ain't heard this from me. And he said he doing a good job.
Response has been so bad to the hurricane. This response has been horrific.
But didn't Elon praise Pete Buttigieg, saying he cleared the way for some of my helicopters to come in? He praised Buttigieg.
Well, that was 2 days late, because what happened is he sent his great, gadgets in. He has the Starlinks. It's incredible for communication. But they were asking me, the people of North Carolina and representatives, they said, could you possibly speak to Elon Musk and get it? And Elon came through, and then they sent it in, and they wouldn't allow it to go in. And it took 2 days, and then Buttigieg, as you say, Buttigieg, called, and I guess after 2 days later.
Oh no! Don't do that. Don't attack Buttigieg. You don't want them problems.
Well, the American people disagree. They do.
Well, no, the American people disagree with you, because every year they buy more EVs.
No,
why do you think they're buying more EVs every year than before?
Because it was present the numbers, because every
1.2 million vehicles were purchased last year, and every single
how many
quarter,
of them were government?
How's that?
How many of them were purchased by the government?
Approximately 0.5%.
Of the number, you're saying
of the EVs, about 0.5% were purchased by the federal government.
The only reason why people are buying them is because of the subsidy.
Well, the subsidy makes them more affordable and helps people buy them. That's true.
Thank you. My time has expired.
He is the school bully. Don't let him find out you out here. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I very much appreciate the support. And as I mentioned previously, we got membership now. Yes, it was something that you guys suggested, and a suggestion that I took and moved forward with. And it's something I'm really super excited about. That's going to give me the ability to give people early access to videos and ad-free experience, and also be able to record things on the go when I'm not necessarily in my perfect environment. I have something I just want to drop in real quick. I have the ability to do that. The ability to give you guys deep dive investigation pieces, some of the stuff that may not necessarily be topical, but stuff that deserves your attention. And of course, some of the uncensored content as well, because Lord knows the kind of stuff that I have to cut out of my videos can make pieces in and of themselves. Well, now I have the ability to do all of that. So sincere thank you to everybody that has joined the channel already. I can't wait to see where this goes.